Welcome to another edition of Big Blue Weekly, presented by Ford. I'm Bob Papa. On Sunday, the Giants are at home against the Minnesota Vikings. Coming up on this week's show, Carl Banks goes to the coach's tape with strategy for this week's game. Sean O'Hara goes one-on-one. Coach Kafka and Carl go to the auditorium and break down one of the key plays in the game from this past Sunday. And Bruce Beck in the locker room, all that and more. And to get things started here on the program, we'll welcome in my co-host, two-time Super Bowl champion Carl Banks, and the head coach of the New York Giants, Mike Kafka. And Coach, I'll start with, you watched this game on Sunday. There were so many different opportunities. Didn't go your way. What was your takeaway from what you saw in the film?
Yeah, just capitalizing on those opportunities. You know, we had some ones defensively, special teams, offensively. And so, you know, we just got to focus this week to make sure we hit those things. And when they come up again, we nail it till we can get the win that we're looking for.
Coach, you look at the stat line, and even when you watch this game defensively, they held them to 3.9 yards rushing. They had, I think, 2 completions on third down. And you say, boy, this is exactly the type of improvement that you need. It's not one play that costs you a game, but it's a collective thing where if you can get just over the hump on those little details somewhere along the line that you can put it together, and as you said after the game, the guys will be able to smile. Yeah, that's really been our focus is each, these last several weeks, it's been just, one play here or there, but all those plays, when you combine them, that ends up being the difference in the game. So the more opportunities, and that's just part of what, as I'm thinking through how we structure practice, how we structure the remaining part of the season is, what's our intent? All right, let's put our guys in more situations, in fourth down situations, put our guys in more 2-minute situations, more 4-minute situations, so that when we get into the game, like now it's more feel like a real life scenarios, right? So these guys are more prepared for it. So we have a plan, and we'll continue to adjust how we see the practice fits and how we see so that we can go and execute come game day.
All right, so let's fast forward to this week's game. The Minnesota Vikings come in. They were eliminated last week, but Sunday night they went to Dallas and they beat the Cowboys in a thrilling football game. J.J. McCarthy, obviously he's a guy that you looked at as an organization when you were evaluating the quarterbacks, played a really strong football game. What are some of the things that you've seen from him that make him dangerous?
Yeah, I mean, getting to know him over the draft process, really smart kid, great kid, comes from a great family. And I think for him, watching his tape, like he's just an operator. He's going to go in there and put the ball where it needs to be. He's got great skill guys around him. He's going to get them the football. They mix it in with the run and pass, and he ties that well together. And Coach O'Connell does a good job of orchestrating that offense. Then on the other side of it is Coach Flores, and the problems and issues that he presents, with his scheme. So it's going to be a really good battle, really good match. But from JJ's standpoint, I see a young player who's ascending.
Coach, can you touch a little bit more on the defense of the Vikings, because it's they can show a lot of different looks, and communication is going to have to be really important, pre-snap and post-snap.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like it is every week. With the level that we play at, the tempo that we play at, communication is going to be stressed across the board. The good news is we're playing at home, so we have the opportunity to be in a verbal cadence and get play at the line of scrimmage a little bit. So we'll use that to our advantage.
Feels like Harrison Smith runs about 100 miles before on pre-snap, just alone. Like he's up, he's back, he's taking the outside. How do you account for a player like that?
Yeah, I had an opportunity to play with him actually when I was in Minnesota in 2014 or 2015, and one of the smartest players I've ever been around. And he understands what the quarterback's seeing. He understands where he needs to be in the defense. He understands where he fits and really where all the pieces of the defense fit. So he can take some liberties in showing one look and knows that he has to get back to a deep half or be a quarters player or be a flat defender. So just one of the smartest guys, a lot of respect for Harrison.
He's like a next generation Polamalu, right? As far as just moving all over the place. Final question, Jackson Dart. Obviously, there were opportunities in this game. It didn't go the way he wanted it to go, and there were some throws late in the game I'm sure he'd like to have back. How do you coach a guy through that when he's going through it for the first time on this level?
Yeah, that's the beauty of having a young quarterback is you go through these experiences and you learn from them. And with Jackson specifically, he typically doesn't make the same mistake twice. So he sees it, he comes back to it, and it's way better and it's more improved, and he's seen it and is processing it faster. So for a guy like Jackson to kind of go through these things right now and still have production and still have a lot of confidence is a good thing. And we'll continue to coach them through it and work them through it. And again, it's not just about one guy. Like there's all 11 are seeing it through the same set of eyes. And so once we get everyone on the same page and everyone's rolling, then we'll get the result we want.
Coach, we appreciate a couple minutes, and we'll do it again next week.
Great, thank you.
That's the head coach of the New York Giants, Mike Kafka. Now, he's not done. When we come back, Carl and Coach head to the auditorium and zero in on some of the key plays from Abdul Carter in Sunday's game. All that and more here on Big Blue Weekly, presented by Ford.
Abdul Carter has had a day.
He's going to hand it off left for Rodriguez. Giants string it out, and he's dropped for a loss of a yard. Takes the snap, back to throw. Under pressure, hit by Carter, and sacked by Carter. Ball came out.
There you go, youngin.
And what we gonna do? How many more? Hello. That's what I'm saying.
Don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself. Not too.
Right, late handoff from McNichols. Hit behind the line and dropped by Abdul Carter. Loss of 3.
Heck of a run stunt there by Abdul Carter. He lined up over the nose tackle. And that's good use of him.
Stop the run, affect the quarterback. Great takeaways, man.
Makes the snap. McNichols gets tackled for a loss. Ball came out. Picked up by the Giants. Abdul Carter.
That's the 51. That's the Abdul Carter. Boy, has he had a day.
Abdul Carter certainly with a breakout game in his game against the Commanders on Sunday at MetLife Stadium. As we welcome you back to Big Blue Weekly, presented by Ford. Time to go into the auditorium. For more on Abdul Carter's play, here's Carl Banks and head coach Mike Kafka.
Coach, Abdul Carter had somewhat of a coming out party. He made some really good plays for the defense. Can you take us through this one forced fumble?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we're down 8 with 2 minutes and 37 seconds left in the game. And really, the Commanders are in a 4-minute mode, right? We know everyone in the building knows they're running the football. They need to get a couple first downs and seal off the game. And our defense just steps up here for us to give us an opportunity late in the game. So it starts off, they're in big people personnel. They got extra O-linemen in the game. And they end up running this gap exchange play for us. The start of this play is Nubin. Like Nubin makes this play. He sees a gap, he triggers on the run, starts a tackle. Great, forceful tackle, backed up. Abdul continues to play through the snap as well. He sees the ball, he gets in on the tackle, and he's stripping. He knows in the 4-minute mode, we need to get the ball back. He punches it out, the ball lands in his lap, he catches, gets it back up, and I think at the end of the day, they end up calling him down right here. But just look at the effort of these guys straining to find a way to get a win here, pitching it back, keeping the ball alive. This is not something you coach. This is something that these guys are just taking it upon themselves to go make a play down the field and give ourselves a chance, man. And you see the effort of just the blockers getting downfield, trying to make a block, getting in phase. I mean, just what an unbelievable effort. I know it didn't count in terms of getting the ball at the 30, but to me, this is the effort and intensity we got to play with for all 4 quarters, for every snap. And it showed up right here when we needed it most to give ourselves a chance to win the game. We have 2 guys that step up and make a massive play for us.
And when you talk about Nubin here, Coach, it's something to be said about his approach to this tackle. He didn't just dive off the diving board. He's got both arms open. He's wrapping up, and which allows Abdul Carter to get in to make the cleanup there.
Yeah, he's running right through this defender, not trying to shortchange it at all. He gets this play jump-started by far. I mean, he's the one that makes this play, essentially. AC gets in and obviously strips it, but without his instinct to trigger on this run, this doesn't happen, right? This doesn't happen. I think this is just a special play by him, and then AC getting in on it, right? He's maintaining his gap. He's got gap control on the C gap, firm.
Play with good leverage.
Great leverage, and then he sees the ball and has an opportunity to punch at it. Again, the more opportunities we can punch at the ball, it's just shots on goal, and now we get one out in a huge situation. This is the effort and the intensity that I'm looking for. This is what I'm playing with.
And one last thing, Coach.
Yeah.
Every guy who ran with that football, they protected it. They weren't waving it around. They didn't expose the ball until it was time for them to pitch it.
Exactly.
All 3 guys, you could see they were just really concerned with ball security.
Yeah, they didn't put the ball in jeopardy at all. And that's just really impressive because the defensive guys typically don't handle the ball that much, right? So it's just great to see. This is one of the coolest plays I've seen from our defense in a long time. again, putting everything they got in it, trying to get blocks downfield. You see Burns, you see, again, Newman, who started the play, is really the first one to get a block between him and Holland and get this thing kind of jump-started with our defense on the return. Just really cool effort, one of the highlights of the defense and really one of the highlights of the game.
And this is the type of effort that will lead to positive results.
100%,
Yeah.
100%.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
Thank you.
We're just getting started on the program. When we come back, Sean O'Hara goes one-on-one. All that and more here on Big Blue Weekly, presented by Ford.
Welcome back to Big Blue Weekly. We're down on the field right now with my man Jevon Holland. Jevon, thanks so much for taking the time.
Of course.
Great to see you, man.
Great seeing you too.
You hear broadcasters talking all the time. Hey, they're really waiting till the last second. They're trying to disguise it, trying to confuse the quarterback. How do you disguise a coverage, and take me through that whole process?
Right. So a lot of the time, quarterbacks, they read off of the safeties.
Right.
And, veteran quarterbacks, like the Aaron Rodgers of the bunch, they'll read off the nickel, the linebacker, and the safety. So, but if we're playing, whatever quarterback.
Are you talking about two safeties?
We're talking about two safeties,
So if there's
two
two
high.
safeties high, so you got two high right
So me and you are together,
That's
right?
easy, right?
Either it's the boundary or the free safety, whatever, your system kind of gives the tell. There's usually an individual that goes down more. So let's say I'm in the field, and then you're Tyler in the boundary, right?
Okay.
If we're going into a single high, whether it be cover 3 or cover 1, a lot of the time I'm trying to keep a quarters track, meaning I'm trying to go straight back. The quarterback has to see us and then look down for the ball, because a lot of people go gun. So when he looks down for the ball, that's 1 second. He then looks up and checks us again. That's 2 seconds. And then he's into his drop. So for me, I'm trying to stay as patient as I can in my quarters track before I then get into the either middle of the field or before I
Because we're showing two high, but but you're going to single high.
Exactly.
And I'm rolling down.
Right.
I'm coming down in run support.
Right.
In case it's run, and now you're going up to a single high.
Exactly.
Which would either be cover 1 or cover 3.
Right. And a lot of the time, quarterbacks have their reads based off of what the safeties do. So if it's single high and they're running two seams, he knows that the two seam players are going to keep it skinny because there's only one individual in the middle. Right. But if it's middle open, which is too high, then the seam balls are going to potentially bend into the middle where the open gaps are. So if I'm a single high safety and I want to hold the two shell and give the presentation to the two slot receivers and the quarterback that's middle open, I want to hold it here. And as soon as they decide, okay, it's too open, then I get to the middle, now I'm messing up their play. And the quarterback's also pumping the ball, trying to figure out where to go now. He's kind of in panic mode, giving our front time to get to the quarterback.
Something that I feel like I hear a lot when I'm watching football is people say, oh, the quarterback moved the safety with his eyes. Is that accurate? Like, do his eyes actually make you move? And are you kind of linked to that?
Yeah, as a safety, like a quarterback's vision is a lot of the time where he's going with the ball. But in my experience, he can't throw the ball until he sets his back foot. So any quarterback you'll see, they'll be in their drop step, they'll set hike, whether it's play action or they're just in drop back. A lot of the time they'll give a look, whether it's to the front side, it's to the back side. Right. But I'm thinking in my head that everything right here, he's lying to me. If he's gonna throw it back over there in a deep ball, he's got a 3-step, when he hits his back foot, immediately get his shoulders open or get his eyes to the backside. And at that point, I can just go. Because I'm assuming Dex, Burns, Duel, KT, Rob, like Roy, they all get into the quarterback. So,
well, thanks so much, man. Good luck this Sunday. All right, can't wait to see you out there.
Sweet.
All right, that's all we've got right now, but don't go anywhere. We've got a lot more to come right here on Big Blue Weekly.
Welcome back to Big Blue Weekly, presented by Ford. Giants and Vikings on Sunday at MetLife Stadium. Let's go to the Giants locker room and get a feel for what's going on. Here's Bruce Beck.
Bob, we're inside the locker room with Bobby Okereke, who is the New York Giants Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year nominee. That's a mouthful, but it really means a lot. How important is it to you?
Very important. This is an award not just about myself, but about all the organizations that have supported me to get to this point. Obviously, the Giants. Shout out to the Boys and Girls Club. Shout out to NFL Africa and OCU Manyora. It really takes a village. So this award shines a light on everybody who's done great work around me.
How do you find the time to give back when you're so worried about making tackles and getting this defense pumped up?
You got to make it important to you, but being a first-generation Nigerian American like I am, my parents were born in Nigeria, so it's very near and dear to my heart for me to give back to those underprivileged, and so other people can live out the American dream like I've been blessed to do so. The more I can do to bring light to the organizations I'm involved in, the better.
All right, let's focus on this week's game. How important is it for the Giants to get a victory?
Extremely important. We're working day and night towards it. Had a great Wednesday practice. We'll go back and watch the film and stay on our process and do what we need to do to get a win on Sunday.
I know I speak for a lot of Giants fans when I say I'm voting for Bobby Okereke for that honor.
Much love, and this is an award that obviously celebrates me, but celebrates the Giants, celebrates NFL Africa, Boys and Girls Club, just organizations nationwide. So keep voting and go Giants.
Bob, keep voting. You heard it from Bobby.
Thank you so much, Bruce. Now it's time for Strategy, presented by Microsoft Copilot. And Carl, the Vikings are coming off a Sunday night win in Dallas. J.J. McCarthy, hey, look, it's been a struggle for him. This is effectively his rookie season. But with the weapons he has, he'll get it downfield.
He gets it downfield, Bob, but I'm going to circle J.J. McCarthy here because he is not the quarterback that we saw earlier in the year. He's playing with much more confidence. And as all good offenses go, so does the quarterback, or the quarterback and the offense, they go together. And let's just take a look here at the ball placement. You're going to have a basic switch route, something going down the field. But his wide receiver gets a step, ball's thrown with anticipation. Watch where the ball is out. Ball is out long before the receiver is open, catch and run. But it's more about the ball placement, and this is why they drafted J.J. McCarthy. It's for throws like this. I mean, he sees this guy open, ball's out, and receiver runs right up underneath it. And then the run after the catch. They've got really good receivers there, and one really great one in Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, and that was Naylor on that play, but he's also really good at making off-schedule plays.
Well, here it is. Pressure comes. Now he escapes, right? But just look at this off-platform throw here across his body, gives it to the guy who can make a play for him.
So let's talk a little bit how this is tied into their running game. They have two really good backs. Mason has 6 rushing touchdowns this season. They also have Jones. But what do they do with their run game, Carl, that makes it so tough?
Good vision, good look. You've got a big old fullback here, but it's not a complex scheme in terms of how they run the football. It's hat on hat, but running backs with great vision. He sees the contact, there's contact here. He sees the head of his blocker here, and he's going to get off of that and through. So he's good vision and good patience. And when you look at this, he's reading the hats. When they say read the hats, Bob, the hat is here, right? The hat is here. So that tells you he's going to end up somewhere out here because he's a good back who sees exactly where the hats are, where the purple hats are, and he's doing a good job.
Yeah, and C.J. Ham has been to a Pro Bowl as a fullback. In fact, he had a rushing touchdown last week against Dallas. Now, pressure, Carl. Brian Flores' defense is very creative. He's got a lot of eye candy. What is Jackson Dart and this Giant offense going to have to deal with?
Well, it's a math class, right? You're going to have to do the math. If you can count the players and they outnumber you, that means you're going to have an opportunity somewhere here, or outside the numbers. But you have to see where the numbers are, right? They've got clusters. There's 2 guys there. You got a guy here, which they're going to cross. But when you look at it, there's only 4 guys coming, right? But look at this. These 2 guys are just dancing there with 1 guy. So if you are a quarterback and you see the math pre-snap and then you see the math post-snap, that means quarterback, wide receivers all have to be on the same page, because if they bring all 7, you got a math problem, right? Ball's got to get out. But they only bring 4. So that means somebody's going to be open. This is one guy that's got to defend a lot of area. Nobody drops out on that side of the football, but you have to be really smart about how you do it.
Those are things that the Giants are going to have to deal with on Sunday when they take on the Minnesota Vikings at MetLife Stadium. That's a look at Strategy with Carl Banks. It is presented by Microsoft Copilot. All right, Carl, some final thoughts on this game. Obviously, McCarthy played well against the Cowboys, but let's focus on the Giants here. We know that their margin is small. They've got to tighten up their punt coverage and special teams units.
Yeah, it really comes down to being complementary right now. I think you've seen enough plays on both sides of the football to where if you can get anything complementary in terms of your coverage, right? Give your offense field position, give your defense advantageous field position, you'll have an opportunity to walk off the field victorious. But you can't continue to surrender big yardage or touchdowns and then have to play from behind.
And then just finally, Abdul Carter had his first really complete, impactful football game. What are you excited to see about Carter this week?
The plan. He is a good football player. Make no mistake about it, folks. He's different. So with a good plan in his application and execution, he will be a problem.
All right, well, this week's game between the Giants and the Vikings is presented by Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the New York Giants and the National Football League. The holidays are in full swing. We want to wish everybody a happy Hanukkah, and we're kicking off Christmas week, and maybe the Giants can deliver an early Christmas present with a win against the Vikings on Sunday. So Merry Christmas to all out there. For Carl Banks, Sean O'Hara, Bruce Beck, Coach Kafka, and our entire crew, I'm Bob Papa. Thanks for joining us for this week's edition of Big Blue Weekly, presented by Ford.